This one's going to be juicy. What if Ontario actually got serious about fixing the problems at the landlord and tenant board, cutting all the red tape, and speeding out the production of new housing? Would you believe them? Introducing the Fighting Delays Building Faster Act of 2025 from the province of Ontario, which aims to streamline development, speed up approvals, and clear the rental backlogs. We're going to dive into this, cover the key highlights. I'm going to share the article links in the description so you can read them in detail yourself, but this is going to be interesting. And most importantly, I'm going to show you where and how this creates opportunities for you, for me, and for investors across Canada. Stay tuned. This specific article is a response from OREA, Ontario Real Estate Association, to the changes. And let's see what the big players have to say here. Let me draw your attention below. If we want Ontario to protect workers, create economic prosperity across the province, and build stronger communities, we need our leaders to take bold action and get shovels in the ground to build more housing and infrastructure. Luckily, the latest housing legislation introduced by the government of Ontario is a big step in the right direction. So the big players are saying this is good. But Ontario has to do the work to bring this legislation across the table and make it law. The province has faced massive, and I mean massive, even from me, criticism for slow progress on its pledge to build 1.5 million homes by 2031, with industry leaders repeating for calls for faster approvals and less red tape. David McKay, CEO of Royal Bank, says the fear and risk of slow approvals are holding back economic growth. We bubble wrap way too many things in this country because we're afraid of making mistakes. That's the point I wanted to bring across. Now let's move right into the legislation here to let you know exactly what they're tabling and why the big players are so excited about this and why they want to see it. So this is where I want to draw your attention. Let's start right here. Building homes and communities. Streamline approval process to make it easier to build. Building on the recently introduced Building a More Competitive Economy Act, the government is continuing to work with municipal partners to cut red tape, accelerate housing development, and give better tools needed for builders to build homes faster. In summary, the article goes into a lot of detail below through the legislation, but I want to give you the key points right here. The province initiative to remove bureaucratic barriers across 40 items required for development simplifies the building permit and planning approval process to make all the infill projects that you and I do much faster and easier. Modernizes the Ontario Building Code to reduce redundancies, less paperwork, shorter timelines, easing zoning constraints. Oh my God, I hope they can get this across the board. So there's automatic permissions, automatic for infill and additional units, which you and I do so well, okay? Cuts redundant green standards, adds time for the cost. The result should be better, predictable timelines, lower soft costs, please, and faster project cycles. Friends, don't run away because we're about to talk about fighting delays at the landlord tenant board. But last but not least, the keep people moving part is important too. I'm not going to cover it in this specific video. I will allow you to read it, check the article that I'm linking in the description. Fighting delays at the landlord tenant board is super, super important. This is where I'm most excited, and you should be too. In summary, they are targeting backlogs and delays at the LTB, restricting last minute issues, and I'm going to show you that right now. Streamlines dispute resolution, faster outcomes, less uncertainty, more stability for retail investors. That's you, and that's me. Better cash flow reliability, and better overall for landlords. When you open this article, I want you to come here, read the summary, then I want you to scroll down, all the way down, past the building homes and communities, to this section right here, fighting delays at landlord and tenant board. This summarizes everything that you need to know. I want to draw your attention to something important here. Look at this right here. Okay. Limit new issues raised at the LTB unless 50% of the arrears is paid. Right now, when there's an arrears, so when a tenant owes a landlord money, the tenant can raise issues and delay the payment of rent and delay the cases and the hearings at the LTB once, twice, even I've seen it 3 times in very extreme cases without ever having to pay rent. The proposed changes for the Residential Tenancies Act to be amended to limit a tenant's ability to raise new issues at the LTB until at least 50% of the rent arrears claimed in the landlord's application is paid up front. So I think this is the most fair thing for tenants and for landlords. Let me explain. If a tenant is bringing a case against the landlord and saying, I'm not paying the rent because the landlord has not maintained the property. The sink is leaking, the toilet's leaking, the window is broken, they're not fixing anything, therefore I'm not paying the rent. Instead of delaying the case until kingdom come, they will be forced to pay 50% of the rent owed, and then everybody will be heard. And I think that's the most fair. The landlord doesn't get all their money because they should have to answer for it. In the same case, a tenant, whether the work and the maintenance is real or not, cannot take advantage of the system and delay the case for no good reason at all. It is so fair, and this is an excellent change. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Just because these changes are proposed, it doesn't mean they are all going to go into law. So we need to pressure our government officials to make it law, make it known, share this video, share the articles, talk to your investor friends. Let's get this stuff across the board because it's positive for everyone involved. Okay, let's talk about what the specific advantages for you and for me are with these changes. I want you to watch them and pay attention and jump on them quickly. I've summarized my thoughts right here so you can follow along with me. Here we go. Faster supply by shortening up the times to get permits and cut out the red tape. Everyone wins. The shorter our approval times, the better it is for me and you who are doing these infill projects. If you're doing a CMHC MLI project, big win. If you're doing an accessory dwelling unit, big win. If you're doing a granny suite, a backyard suite, any third suite, you win. It's beneficial to everybody in the game, the developers, the JV partners, syndication marks, the mortgage broker, the realtors, the investor. Everyone wins. Okay, number two, with LTV efficiency. Now, this is the biggest complaint Ontarians and investors have in Canada, and especially in Ontario. I think these changes drive up confidence to get new retail investors, new people just like me and you into the game, buying rental properties, confident on the market. And my God, the biggest thing we need in this market is confidence. Okay. Like I just said, confidence in capital inflow. What happens when confidence goes down is capital inflow decreases. And that's what's happened in our market lately. People are afraid, literally afraid to continue to invest. And Ontario's recognized that finally, and they want people to know that Ontario is open for business, right? We need capital flow, and that starts with confidence. So again, this is better for everybody, anybody who owns property, any landlord, anyone sitting on a piece of real estate, it works. Now, what can you do to take advantage of this if you're new, beginner, never tried real estate before, if you're in the game, and if you're advanced, is be early. Okay? You want to position yourself ahead of the changes, right? If you know land deals and approvals are going to get faster and easier, well, maybe you want to get into a land deal quicker rather than later. And if you don't know what you're doing, pay attention. I'm here to help you. If you want help with this kind of stuff, there's a link in my description. You can download my book. It'll give you an option to book a call with me. I want to hear your story, what you're trying to do, and let's figure it out together. But even if you're a multifamily investor, just looking for cash flow, just want to buy your first rental property, there are multiple advantages here that you can take advantage of. And that's what it is. It's called a policy tailwind. Get in before the wider market does. I hope that makes sense. Smash the like button, share this with a friend, do them and me a favor.